How's it going, y'all? Getting ready for this morning's long run, but before we jump into the run, I have a very important question for you, and I need to know some answers down in the comments below. I have been starving most days, especially after dinner. Like, I just cannot quench this hunger that I have. I'm looking for any kind of tips, recommendations for some maybe healthy snacks or just snacks in general that you eat throughout the day to help power you, help fuel you for all of those runs, all of those workouts. I usually eat a pretty substantial lunch and pretty substantial dinner, but that is just not cutting it anymore. So let me know down in the comments below, what are you snacking on throughout your days? Because I really need to add something to my diet to deal with this insane hunger that I've been experiencing. So that being said, looking forward to reading those comments, but we're jumping into today's long run, a 90-minute long run, once again with some running intervals mixed into the middle of that run. So at the halfway point, I'll be doing 5 repeats of 3-minute intervals, 3 minutes on, 3 minutes rest in between each. So looking forward to some more track work, and we'll see how it goes. All right, y'all, back at the track. Once again, incredibly windy day, 25 to 30 mile an hour winds only picking up throughout the day. So needless to say, should be a super fun workout, but looking forward to crushing some repeats on the track. Cheers, beer runners. We are back. Week 3 of dry January, 3 weeks down, exactly 1 week left in the month. And so far, so good. Everything's going very well. Just a quick recap of the rules of dry January. So typically in the past, dry January for me has just been completely sober for the month. I think it's a very nice way to kick off the year, break some bad habits from the year before, and create some new, healthier habits to hopefully continue through the rest of the year. This year, a little bit different. I started listening to a podcast, Thirst for Knowledge, and they do a dry January challenge every year as well, but they worked in a few unique challenges this month that I'm participating in as well this year. So first, the sobriety. Second is a nutritional challenge, and third is a physical challenge. So for those second two, you as the participant get to choose what you're interested in doing. So the goals that I've set for myself, the nutritional challenge is to find and create a new healthy recipe each week. I think it's a good challenge for me. One, because I tend to just fall into a rut and make a lot of the same things over and over. So this encourages me to go out and seek new recipes, hopefully find some new delicious options to work into my routine, but also encourages me to cook more. I definitely don't do as much cooking around the house as I should. So hopefully this will come up with some more recipes that I feel comfortable and confident cooking to work work into my routine. And then the physical aspect for me, strength training is definitely something that I don't do enough of, as much as I should, definitely. My coach sends me some workouts, but I really need to take the initiative to kind of work some more just little strength training things here and there into my day-to-day routine. So the challenge that I set for myself for the month is to do at least 3 strength workouts each week, specifically a core routine, an upper body routine, and a lower body routine. So you know the drill. I'm just going to go through a training update throughout the week, starting with Monday, ending with Sunday, how everything's going, and making sure to target those specific Dry January challenges as we go along. If you have any questions or anything like that come out, please let me know in the comments below, things you want to know about my training, how's it going, longer term training plans, goals, etc. Let me know down in the comments below. I'd be happy to work those into a future video. I also mentioned on my run this morning, if anyone has any advice on specific snacks that I can work into my diet on a daily basis, now that I'm working out so much more than I have in the past, higher mileage, higher intensity, adding in the biking, the strength workouts, etc. There are just so many days where I am starving still by the end of the day, even after a substantial dinner. So please let me know any recommendations you have down in the notes below. But like I said, going through the week day by day, as always, Monday was a rest day, so no running, usually recovering from the long runs of the weekend. I did take on a bike ride. I remembered this week, woohoo, way to go, but just a 30-minute bike ride on the Peloton. That's all I did for Monday. Moving into Tuesday, I had a run workout that I haven't had in a while, but it's actually one of my favorites and probably one of my least favorites. I would say one of my favorite workouts that I love to hate. Really, it was a 4,000 meter run, but every 400 meters, picking up the pace little by little by little. So starting cool, calm, collected, my coach said specifically for the first 2 to 3, kind of take it easy, get a feel for it, and then continue to speed up throughout. And I did pretty well. Like I said, I really enjoy this workout. It's definitely a challenge trying to figure out how slow you need to start so that you are able to pick up the pace throughout the run. I didn't do as well this week as I have done in the past. I missed a couple of splits, but still felt really good about the workout. I started right around a 7-minute pace, a little over a 7-minute pace, and my last split was 5:59 for the final 400 meters. But when I say it's hard to kind of find what the perfect interval is or what the perfect place to start and end is, my second to last interval was 6:27, so I cut 30 seconds off in that last 400 meter. What that says to me is I didn't necessarily start fast enough, or I didn't speed up with each interval. I had enough gas in the tank to really kick it into high gear for that last interval. So again, I love that workout. It's definitely a challenge and just something fun that I don't get to do as often. Total distance for that run was 5.38 miles. No strength workout for Tuesday. I definitely had a hard time motivating myself to fit in the strength workouts throughout the beginning of this week, so you'll see those come in later on this week. But Tuesday was when I prepared the meal that I had found for this week, and it was delicious. I definitely redeemed myself from last week's atrocity, and what I found was, again, in the Runner's World cookbook, that's just been my go-to. It's nice and easy since I have it on hand, but it was a mushroom and asparagus pasta. Delicious. We made some slight adjustments to the recipe. You were supposed to boil the asparagus in with the pasta. I'm not a big vegetable guy, especially with the consistency. I like them to be a little bit more crisp, and I definitely prefer sauteing vegetables. So what I did was just saute portobello mushroom, asparagus in a frying pan, boil the pasta on the side. We went with tortellini, mix that all together with some parsley, some garlic, lots of spices. Phenomenal, and we had plenty throughout the week as well, so I could work that into some of my lunches, but it was absolutely delicious. Hit my target for my new meal of the week, and that is definitely one that we will work into the rotation in the future. Moving into Wednesday, I did mention last week, I've just had a little bit of a nuisance pain in my foot. I don't notice it on my runs as much, so again, just continuing to rehab that, ice that, work a lot of recovery routines into my day-to-day to hopefully see that start to improve. And like I mentioned, it's not necessarily getting any worse, and I do think I've noticed some small improvements, so I'm hoping I can get through the rest of this running interval training, and then again, it will recover a lot more quickly once we dial down the intensity for the next block of training. Because of that toe pain, I did decide for this workout, I didn't want to push myself all out. I wanted to be a little bit more reserved. It was another running interval workout, 6 times 4-minute intervals with 2 minutes rest in between each. I was right around a 6:30 pace for those 4-minute splits. I got down to 6:17 for the last 2, and it felt really good. I felt a lot better on that workout. I felt like I hit hit the splits a lot more accurately, or I was a lot closer to what I wanted to as opposed to the day before. But overall felt like a great workout. Total mileage for the day was 6.86 miles. That takes me into Thursday, and a huge shout out to my coach, because if I was lacking the motivation to do strength training on my own, it's always helpful when he prescribes it for me. So Thursday, he sent me a strength routine to do, and it may not seem like much, but I think this workout is the perfect example of how significant a simple body weight training routine can be if done correctly. So the workout for Thursday was 4 sets of 20 reverse lunges on each side, and then 4 sets of 20 tempo squats. If you're not familiar with a tempo squat, I was not. It's basically like a much slower, controlled squat, and then hold for a second at the bottom before slowly coming out of the squat as well. So it really just focuses you to live when your muscles are at that tension, when they're really working, rather than being as explosive as you are with a traditional squat in and out of that motion. You're just sitting in that tension, allowing your muscles or forcing your muscles to really work hard. Those were so much more brutal than I was expecting. But again, a short workout that definitely felt incredible afterwards. It was definitely the kick that I needed to kick off my strength routines for the week. So then I did a 10-minute core exercise after that. And again, since it was a day without running, 30-minute bike ride after that, 6.41 miles on the bike. That closes out Thursday. So moving into Friday, Friday was a recovery day, getting ready for the long run on the weekend. And again, you saw an example of this run last week, but a 60-minute recovery run, keeping my heart rate under 140 beats per minute. And again, nasal breathing only. It was comfortable, luckily, so it didn't feel like I was crawling necessarily, but especially towards the end, I saw my heart rate wanting to creep up above that 140 mark as I just naturally started to pick up the pace, and just had to, again, force myself to slow down, concentrate on my breathing, lower that heart rate, and just enjoy the run. Although those runs can be difficult mentally, it forces you just to kind of sit with your thoughts, work through that run, and you are hyper aware of every aspect of your stride, every step that you take, because it is so much slower of a pace. You're not experiencing as much stress as you might during a harder workout. So because of that, your mind is able to focus on a lot of the mechanics of running, the mechanics of your form. So it's a nice way to just recover and reset right before those weekend long runs. That run was 5.38 miles. Again, I mentioned it was a little bit slower than my run last week, 11:09 per mile. But again, speed is not the point. It's just about recovering those legs and enjoying the run, which I certainly did. So that closes out the run for Friday. And then Friday evening, I did another strength routine, got the upper body in. That was a shoulders and back workout. So we have 2 out of the 3 strength workouts done. I still have not done my leg workout, not going to count Thursday's workout. So I will leave that for Sunday to do. Saturday's long run, you got to see some of that. So it's the same as the run I had a couple weeks ago. It was a 90-minute endurance run. Wedged in between was 5 repeats of 3 minutes on, 3 minutes off on the track. As you saw in the video, I was not super excited about the intervals because the winds are brutal right now, and I had seen on the news in the morning that they are only getting worse and worse throughout the day, and the temperature is just continuing to drop throughout the day. It was not as bad as I was expecting, I'll say that. But especially for my last 2 repeats, the wind had picked up substantially. As far as the breakdown for the run, all in all, it was 11.08 miles. I was a little bit slower than I wanted, but I think that's to be expected given the conditions. Still, I kept it under a 6-minute pace for those splits, which I felt good about. I was right around a 5:50. I got down to 5:40 for my lowest. 5:40 per mile was my pace for my fastest interval, and then I think 5:55 was my slowest. Felt really good. Felt even better once I was finished that, and on my way back, especially with the wind at my back, not having to just face those cold winds off the water. As I mentioned, Sunday is a rest day, but I'm definitely going to get at least a leg workout in. I'll also do the 30 minutes on the bike. I'll probably try to add a core workout in as well. One last thing I'll mention, if you didn't see the video that I posted earlier this week, you may have noticed the shoes that I wore for my Saturday long run, the Brooks Glycerin 18s. Brooks Glycerin are possibly my favorite model of shoe that I've run in. They are certainly not meant to be a speed shoe. They're much more of a distance shoe, just with the cushioning. I always go back and forth with what shoes to wear when I have those long runs that have speed work in between. Do I want a more cushioned ride for the duration of the run, or do I want a faster shoe specifically for those intervals? Ultimately, especially with the issues I've been having with my feet, opted for that extra cushion. But the reason that I bring all of this up is because Brooks just announced that the Glycerin 19s are going to come out at the beginning of February. February 1st, I believe they go on sale. The glycerins are a little bit more expensive of a shoe, which is why I don't buy them as often as I would like to. But one thing that I've said in the past, and you may have seen me say before, is one of my favorite things to do when I'm buying shoes is look for whatever the newest model is that's coming out and just buy the model before that, because companies have a lot of that older model in stock that they're trying to clear out to make room for the new ones. So as the Glycerin 19 is about to come out, you can grab that Glycerin 18 on sale. So pro tip, if you're looking for a new pair of shoes, especially if you like a more cushioned ride, you can see my full review of the shoe. I posted it earlier this week. I'll also link to the video, but it is a great shoe and you can get it for a little bit of a discount, and who knows, that price might drop even further come February. But it was another phenomenal week of training. I am definitely glad to be done another week of running interval training. Looking forward to being done with the interval block and getting on to some longer endurance miles, give my legs a little bit of a rest. But I know each block of training is targeting a specific portion of my fitness, so I appreciate the gains that I'm definitely going to experience from this training. It's tough, but it'll be worth it in the end. So thank you for tuning in for another week. Again, any questions, drop them down in the comments below. If you don't already, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel so that you can see all the future videos as they come up. Please give the video a thumbs up to help other people find the video as well. If you want to make sure you don't miss anything that I post, make sure you click the bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video. But like I said, thank you as always for tuning in, and I hope you have a phenomenal week. Cheers.